joining and supporting the project. We're here for a bit of an AMA. I think we like to kick our AMAs off with Gene and I will be handling the call tonight. So we appreciate the support from Undine and the rest of the community. I think just a few quick updates to get the ball rolling, I should say. We're looking at quite a lot of offers for the IXS Launchpad. So we're hard at work. I think the team's assessing 25 to 30 projects that would be issuing security tokens on the Launchpad. I think that's really exciting. It's been one of the bottlenecks for the industry, and hopefully a really strong value proposition that will be launching, STOs that can be, bought, sold, invested by everybody, and everybody being all investors. So no accreditation required for all of the deals. Some of the deals will still have a sophisticated investor profile requirement, I'm sure. They're not the ones we're looking for right now, but once we start to get more product and deal flow, I think bigger deals will start coming to the table that might necessarily be structured that way. But more importantly, the focus for us is to provide good deals that all the community can invest into. And I think the goal has always been to make that as easy as buying and selling crypto, right? Some basic KYC AML required, because anyone who's launching a security token and raising money, running a company, needs to know at all times who is sitting on their cap table, right? So there'll still be that basic element, and when we're using the pools at the AMM pools, then we have a custodian behind the platform and a broker dealer behind the platform to make it a legal, pool and a legal trade of our STO. So with that in mind, it's looking pretty exciting. We're looking at a whole bunch of different startups. I've been looking at a couple myself, AI/health platforms using AI to work with an application and users, capture all their data, try to work out preventative medicine, and also programs all around exercise, eating, etc. So that's kind of interesting. There's another startup in the Web3 space I've been looking at, another one related to IP. And I know that there's been at least 25 or so that the team's been looking at to get up onto the register of interest page, which we really want to see the community participate in that, so we can actually find out what deals people like, what they're looking for, put more of them on the platform, ideally raise more money for deals that people like. We don't expect people to like everything, and then taking a step forward from there and launching the actual projects on the IXS platform. Super excited by Launchpad. It's been a long time in the making. A lot of that's been held back by licensing. The community knows we've announced the in-principle approvals for the licensing, which is the something we've been waiting for a very long time. I think ultimately more and more people getting bullish on tokenization of real-world assets, which is the key infrastructure that we support, and we want to continue building that out. So that's really exciting. Gene has been helping out on a whole bunch of our marketing activities. I think we are implementing new processes for sales and marketing. So really focused on lead generation. Who can, which programs and which systems are going to create the right types of deal flow for Launchpad, and also, the right types of investors to join the platform as well. So we've got a whole bunch of plans in the making there that have been ongoing, as well as just sharpening up what we're kind of already doing. And I think that we're excited by what's sort of coming out now and into the future. I think from technical perspectives, I think we're pretty much done right now on kind of build-ups in terms of, we've spent a lot of capital building out the platform and Launchpad AMMs, etc. So and the whole redesign of the platform recently. So we're kind of really focused now on getting traction and really generating good products and getting more STOs out the door and getting people to really buy them, getting a whole bunch of different investors. We have about 1,000 plus venture capital firms, blockchain and TradFi VCs that we're going to start bringing into Launchpad as well. I'm not sure if the community has seen it, but I think that the real future of building communities for startups is not, especially Web3 companies, is not just selling tokens. And I think the problem with the model up until recently, especially just with the ICOs and even the NFT projects, is it's typically, the seed round and the equity round is typically just for venture capital firms. The seed rounds for the tokens, the ICOs, were typically also for the VCs. You might get access to a public sale as an individual investor, and already then it's 2 or 3, 4 times the price that the seed round was. And again, typically communities, at least in Web3 and blockchain, have never had access to actual real ownership of the platform, if real ownership is equity ownership. Now, there's, I think fundamentally there's a bit of a fallacy in the blockchain space that all the value accrues to the utility token and the native token of the platform. That I don't think is true. I think that is sold to the communities as true because that's the only thing they can buy. And if that was true, then why do you have Andreessen Horowitz? Why do you have all these big blockchain VCs investing millions of dollars, sometimes hundreds of millions of dollars, into the equity of these blockchain projects that have got nothing to do, in brackets, with the token, which was launched a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago? So the whole point of that story was that we are now here. We are now presenting a new paradigm, a new way, a new shift of thinking to say, if you are issuing any type of token that's not a security, ICO, NFT, etc., wanting to build a strong community, you'd have a much stronger community if they not only bought that token, but they're also being able to access the equity by investing through a security token early stage. And we're here to provide the infrastructure through IXSwap to make that happen. So I think that STO plus ICO is certainly the way forward. And the way I explain this to startup founders is an extreme example. It's not probably going to be like this, but this is an extreme example to say, if you could have $1 million investment from one VC, and let's single out Andreessen Horowitz here. So A16Z give you $1 million. It doesn't even matter how much equity. I'll just make up a number today, say 20% equity, okay? Or if I could tell you that I could get you 1 million users that all had a $1 STO each, and you could choose, you still have $1 million, and through tokenization, launching security tokens, we don't have a significant cost increase. So essentially, we can get a fairly relative similar cost. There'd be a slight increase for sure. But if you could get 1 million users, now do you want 1 million users and $1 million, or do you want maybe no user or one user and $1 million? And I think the answer is most founders would choose 1 million users, because you're not only building your business, you're creating, generating ideally sales and revenues as a user base. You have real active people that own part of the platform, and you're really kind of decentralized and distributing ownership in a good way. Now, I don't think it's going to be that extreme. It's typically not one VC anyway. But I think that, what we're doing, what we're pushing really hard is to say that, it is good to have a good quality lead investor. It is good to have a good VC. There's a lot of good VCs out there. There's a lot of bad VCs out there. But, it's good to have someone assess the deal, have expertise in potential technology, negotiate a deal that is, I'm going to say in brackets, it's fair, reasonable deal, and leads around. So as the STOs launched, ideally, some would be at the same term, some would be maybe slightly later, just like a second, a next stage funding. But you've got then the investors, the individual investors can lean on the the research, the branding, the work that the VC has done. Now, the good thing about this is that it also means, again, unlike a lot of ICOs where VCs are at the front of the seed rounds and the tokens, they often really create tokenomics that are very one-sided. So they get in early, they get in super cheap, they dump early, they move on to the next project. We're certainly not wanting those types of companies on our platform. We can't also guarantee bad behavior by investors because that's not something we can control to a certain degree, but we can influence with the right type of tokenomics around STO launches that the super majority of the community, or at least the rounds that we're launching, have a decent basis for the tokenomics around the security token. What does that mean? Ultimately, we want to find really exciting investment opportunities. We want to find good quality lead investors to wrap due diligence and negotiated terms out. And so by the time we're launching, let's call it $1 STOs to our community, we've got all the sort of the pieces in play. Now, that's what our mission is, and that's what I think as a founder myself, that it makes a lot of sense to me. It makes a lot of sense that 10%, 20%, 50, 75, whatever that number is, of community gets a piece of the platform. Again, separate to an ICO or an NFT or something that's not equity in the company, because I think that's going to build a better business, and I think that that's something that we fundamentally believe. It's something that we've been building for years. It's something that I think, no matter what position you have as an investor, I think if you step up to a 40,000 foot, or even just step back from the projects, or at least to the founders, and say, like, guys, this is an exciting new way to leverage the technology that is part of the DNA of Web3. It doesn't just have to be. We're speaking to real estate groups, we're speaking to private equity groups, we're speaking to a lot of groups that aren't Web3. But I think that that's exciting and interesting, and certainly something that we're big believers in. And hopefully that'll give us a lot more pools. And I think we really want to bring the DNA of the good side of ICOs, the good side of NFTs, in terms of big communities and excitement and all those kinds of things. And I say the good sides because I don't want we're not keen to have the bad sides of that, which is the rug pulls and all the drama and people stealing stuff and people yelling and screaming online. But hopefully I think we can build some excitement into investing in these startups and create kind of a vibrant community and a vibrant kind of marketplace, and ultimately more liquidity pools, which we've started off, but we've got a long way to go. So that's on that front. Now we've still got some work to do. We're getting very close. It's hard for us to put exact dates on first offerings, etc. But the team's hard at work, and we'll get them out as soon as we can. Gene, that's kind of maybe an overview of what's most interesting for the team. So what would be the next steps? You got some questions that you wanted to answer?
Yeah, so I think we have a few questions here. I think we can start with the questions surrounding the white label solutions. We have a couple. So the first question regarding white label is, how many deals have we signed so far, and when will the integrations happen?
Yeah, so we're signing up our next. Okay, so this is the best way to understand it if I try to simplify. One of the reasons. Okay, so the first working platform of IXSwap was IXSwap as an AMM, just a technology platform. It facilitated security token liquidity pools and buying and selling security tokens, but it did that legally by leveraging a security token custodian. The first one was First Digital out of Hong Kong, and leveraging a security token broker. The first one was InvestorX out of Singapore. So as you buy and sell or create liquidity pools in IXSwap, it was purposely built to look and feel like Uniswap from a UX UI, so user experience, user interface, UX UI, and very clean and simple. That we think that the Uniswap, which is a swap model, right? It's not really an exchange. It's a swap, although it's called Uniswap Exchange. It's really just an over-the-counter platform where I just want to buy something or you want to sell it. It just gives you a price. So what's the difference with that and a traditional exchange or even a cryptocurrency exchange? The difference is that when you go to Binance, which most people in our community would understand, you buying and selling things in the exchange, and there's a whole bunch of order books and matching engines. So there's hundreds of bids and offers and different prices, and you can buy it at $1, $1.20, or 90 cents, and you can or can't buy all those kinds of things. There's market makers inside that exchange. There's people making those markets. There's professional or non-professional, whatever, different experience. They're buying and selling these tokens, right? So when you go and buy something, sometimes you're buying it off these guys. There's a whole ecosystem, but that's like traditional market making services. And whether that's Binance as a centralized crypto exchange or Nasdaq, right? In those exchanges, you have order books and matching engines, and you have professional people making these markets, which typically need licenses as well. Well, they always need licenses. Maybe not so much the crypto market makers, but at least the market makers on stock exchanges, they need securities license to be market makers of these securities because they're securities, right? But so back to sort of IXSwap was like, it was point to build, to build something that looked and felt like Uniswap, that was legally allowed to operate this model. And it's a bit of a long answer, but stick with me here. So that was the first model, right? But so to make it, and so what happened was we started going around the world and we said, IXSwap is going to be the leading market maker for all the STOs in the world by going to all the STO issuance platforms and saying your OTC market. So once people have launched an STO, once it's been invested, and then someone wants to sell it, well, that's just going to sit. Most of these security tokens are just going to sit on these OTC platforms, like as in a broker dealer that has token issuance technology. So, but there'll be no market making because that's just, Gene selling 100 STOs for $200, $200 each. That's it. And he would typically just be waiting around for someone to come buy it. And there's no market making solution to that. There's never been a market making solution for an over the counter market in the history of the world, right? Up until Uniswap did it for crypto. So the point of this story, if you can still follow me, is that IXSwap needs to integrate with security token brokers and security token custodians all over the world. And that's its plan. That's its mission, to integrate with all of them. That's the ultimate mission. But each one is different. So they have different rules, different jurisdictions. Some of them have good technology, some of them bad technology. Some of them are on the right protocols that we're on, some of them are on different protocols. So they all have all these different nuances. So the reason that we went and got all our licenses for IXSwap was that if we got all our own licenses, it would be much more scalable because we can provide all these services to anyone, and we don't need other people's licenses. We can still integrate with STO brokers and custodians, but by having our own licenses, we can actually provide all those services ourselves. So it will be a lot more scalable. So with that in mind, it's like, so that just happened, right? We just recently got those licenses approved. So we're now cranking that back up again and trying to go out and start door knocking on all the people we've already met and saying, all right, guys, like, before you were interested, but maybe it didn't work, or maybe it was too hard, or maybe you didn't have a license, or maybe you didn't think you wanted to wait till we had our own license to go there. Now we have that. Now we want to look at doing that. And so for the roadmap, I'd say we have our next STO issuance platform onboarding right now to start using IXSwap. The next focus for the next couple months is going to be Launchpad, getting some more deals up, getting some good deals up, creating some more pools, and then we get back to going out and growing IXSwap to become the AMM for all these other STO platforms. So there's a lot to digest there, but that was kind of the best way to answer that.
Thanks for that in-depth answer, Julian. I think there's other two more questions regarding with the white label solution. So the first one is, will their existing assets be integrated or just new ones?
Oh, well, we want to put as many assets as possible. So ideally, all of that would be the goal. Now, whether they've been structured properly or if there's issues that they don't want to, but yeah, I think ultimately, the whole we're a model that is built agnostic to the underlying security of the security token. So whether it's real estate or startups, we don't care as long as it's legitimate, and it's issued on the same protocols. So the more the merrier.
Right. Thanks for that. And I think the last one for the white label solution question or topic is, will this all be integrated in one go, or will they be integrated separately?
Well, you have to go, most of the platforms will be talking to, okay, some of them are just technology companies, but often they are like a broker deal themselves. Sometimes they have tech, sometimes they don't. So you can't just blanket plug into 100 companies. You have to do it one by one. But we're going to get better and better at doing that and more efficient as time goes on. So again, especially now that we have our licenses to do it ourselves.
Awesome.
The important one of the frustrating parts of the industry has been that all the STO issuance platforms have been selling the dream for security tokens, liquidity for liquid assets, and da 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 da. Right. Now, there's a lot of other value propositions to it, like lending, borrowing, staking, new investment products, all these other things. But to simplify today, the frustration has been that all these STO platforms have been selling their clients, you should do an STO, get some liquidity, but they don't have any market makers. So with IX Swap, they should be able to get a lot more business, because the number one problem they all face is new clients saying, "Oh, this sounds great, but there's no liquidity. I'm not going to do it." Or if you could show me some liquidity, and if they plug into IX Swap, the platforms can say, "Okay, you're interested in launching a security token for your company or your fund, and you're worried about liquidity. Well, with our solution, you can start the first liquidity pool." So that's like a big aha moment, right? It's like, oh wow, okay. Now we just, still just early. So the value proposition is super strong, because if an STO issuance platform integrates with IX Swap, they will get more business at the front of their platform. But still, that's why I said it's one of the most frustrating parts of the whole industry, is that, it's such a forward-thinking product that it's still, a lot of these groups haven't done it or won't do it or haven't done it yet, even though it would help them make a lot more money. Because, again, some of them say they've got tech, but they don't. Some of them sort of have licenses, or their license won't allow, or they think that the AMM needs a market making license, which it doesn't, because it's not a traditional. There's a plethora of issues. But again, the licenses of our own, and then plugging into the next partners, being able to show that as the use case, then we can grow from there. So we just keep grinding away on that.
Awesome. Yeah, so I think we have another question regarding secondary listings here. Is there an updated timeline, and what are the two upcoming listings?
Updated timelines, I'd have to check back with Aaron on that specifically, because I don't want to step out of line. I sort of gave some high level timelines in terms of through the updates here. The next listings, I think on the launch pad, we're looking at a whole bunch of startups. So that'll be there might be one or two real estate, but I think most of them are looking at startups right now. And then from the assets on the first platform that's integrating to use AMM, the STO issuance platform, I'd have to check on the actual underlying assets, but I think they were quite diverse. I think there were companies, I think there was real estate. But yeah, we could get back to these guys, Gene, with some more detailed responses after this.
Definitely, yeah.
I look at 20, 30 deals a day, so there's a lot of different deals.
Right. Yeah. So regarding that question, the community will make sure to get that answered in the chat. I guess we could go forward with the next question, and this one's regarding funding. So how is IXS in terms of funding?
When are you releasing that article, Gene, that we just wrote? The merge.
Yeah. So I think a quick brief for everyone listening in here. Recently, IXP parent company has just acquired IXS. So In terms of funding, I think we have sufficient so far, and we're excited to release that article and get everyone up to speed with what's happening internally between IXS and IXP. Um, I think that's it for funding. I guess the next question, this is more targeted towards marketing. So, someone asked here, what is the update on the ST tag on KuCoin? So we're already fixing with our yeah. So we're already fixing the issue with our market maker. And for those that aren't aware, DWF Labs are the market makers for IXS. They send us the same message every month on regarding the ST, and according to the market maker, it's a lot of projects and protocols are also getting the same message. But if we're checking TVL
Well,
here, yeah,
yeah. Let me step in there for a sec. I'm very unhappy about the ST logo. I think that it is not a sign of any. It is not. It is not reflective of anything that we've done since we were a KuCoin Launchpad client, where we have spent a lot of money and time from marketing to market making to giveaways to the KuCoin community. So it's something that we are speaking with them directly. I was just messaging them about 20 minutes ago, and most of the projects, whoever hit Launchpad, have completely died, and we're out here building something real. And just as we're about to get ready to launch the Launchpad, they put this tag on us, which doesn't help us or our community or our investors or their investors. So ultimately, there's the big cryptocurrency exchange, wanting more of everything, right? So that's fine. That's the business model. We'll sort it out. It's not sort of phasing us either way. But yeah, it's not obviously it's not helping us. I don't know how it really helps them as well. But anyway, yeah, we'll work that out. I think that we'll be sticking with KuCoin for now, and I think that we'll be able to sort that out. But not so nice of them after all the love that we've given KuCoin, really.
right.
But we like KuCoin, and we think that it's just a sort of a blanket thing for to try to get more volumes. Everyone's got to remember that the cryptocurrency exchanges, generally speaking, are down about 90% in their trading volume. So their business is hurting, as is all crypto exchanges, which is why earlier this year they laid off half the crypto exchange employee list globally got laid off. 10,000 people lost their job. So look, it's just a bear market. Everyone's suffering. We're going to keep building. We'll sort it out with them. We're very friendly with them. And I think it's just, they're having some tough times, as is all crypto exchanges.
Right. And just adding to your answer, checking trade value, we are still in the top 50% of projects' average monthly volume. So
that's the other thing. They're telling us metrics that we can't understand where they're getting them from, because we're not seeing that we're even in an ST bucket, which makes it even more frustrating, but we'll sort it out.
All right. So I think we've covered most of the questions here. If anyone else has any questions, please do leave them in the chat, and we'll stay on a bit longer just to answer them in there. So please, thank you again for everyone just joining us. Julian, if you have any other final comments or something you want to leave the community with, please do so. Passing it back to you.
No, look, I think closing comments. Really appreciate the support from the community. We've invested. Unlike 99% of projects, we took all of our token sale raise and we spent it on the platform. Licenses, technology, the first working AMM, Launchpad coming now, listings on KuCoin's market making, everything. So, it takes a while to get things off the ground. And then we went into this heavy bear market. So, we're super excited by the platform still, even though it's been a really brutal 12 months. But we're looking forward to it. We are raising some new capital right now. I'm not going to get into who's getting involved, but there's a lot of very interesting companies, and we've even got banks and big institutions looking at sort of materials and whatnot. But yeah, so we're super bullish. We've got plenty of runway. We've got some really exciting things coming down the pipeline. So yeah, we look forward to the next AMA and any support that the community gets. We want to really start bringing these new projects to Launchpad and then get our community to help shill them across different other communities, from a B2B perspective. So building up some lists, we'll work out some, I think, Gene, you've got a couple of programs coming down the pipeline where we can help any of our diehard community who can help bring capital and projects to the platform. We'd love to share, whatever it is that we can with them around that commercially. So yeah, keen to leverage our really strongest loyal supporters and build some great stuff as we move out throughout the rest of the year.
Amazing. Thanks for that, Julian. And if you're just hearing that, community, just want to thank everyone that's been loyal so far. And if you've got any suggestions or feedback, please do let us know. And we love hearing from you. I guess that wraps up this month's AMA. Please do leave comments or questions, and we'll be on there shortly to answer them.
Yeah, I think thanks a lot, Gene. Appreciate you helping putting this together. I've been up since 5 a.m., so I'm going to log off and jump into bed soon and get back at it tomorrow.
Right. Yeah. Better get that rest then. All right.
All right. Cheers, Gene. Thanks, everybody.